Welcome, everybody. This is Massey. And again, I'm without Mike this week, and this is podcast number 34. The irony of this is this has kind of been a series. If you guys remember last podcast, we had a lady that works with the local public school system that's teaching immigrants and newcomers to the country on what it means to be an American. So they bring us in to do these things about once a month, like a little conference to teach about what the Constitution is and things like that. Well, I'm actually honored with our next guest. Her name's Ivonne Pelton, and I met her doing some of these classes actually, she goes to our church. I pastor here at Revive Church, and she goes to our church, and her husband does the sound, in the back and stuff like that. So they're pretty involved. But I saw her speak at one of these deals that I was teaching the Constitution, and I thought, why don't we create a series of people who have a story of being an immigrant into this country and actually want to make something of themselves. And so we're honored to have Miss Ivonne Pelton here, Mrs. Ivonne Pelton, not Miss. Mm-hmm. And she's going to talk about some things. She runs a business and all that stuff, but I really want to get her story. Why I want to do this series, and I'll say it again because I did it last time when Clarissa was here. I believe sometimes people only get a one-sided view of what an immigrant is. And yeah, they say, well, not everybody's bad, of course, but let's hear some good stories about some real success stories of people who've come here to this country to be a part of America and actually to assimilate and want to run a business and make a life better for their family. And so we're honored to have you here today, Miss Ivonne. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yeah, she sounds like my mother. Hablas como mi mamá. You talk just like my mom. And very, very, like the English. You still have good English, but she talks the same way. But I'm going to ask you, and you're way younger than my mom, I'm sure. So, but I'm going to ask you just some questions, and I kind of just want to hear your story. What brought you first off to America? What was the point of being here in America? I mean, I ask a lot of immigrants that, and the answer is almost the same, but I kind of like hearing from your viewpoint. What brought you here to this country to be a part of this, what we have,
Yeah, at the beginning, I don't have plans to come to this country. I'm very young when I came to this country.
Last year? You're still pretty young, right?
No, 19 years old. And when I decided to come here is because I had the twins, and one of my daughters passed away. And I feel so sad, and my daughter's father's living here, and he invited to come here to have a new life, because something in my heart hurt me. If when I was there, everything remind me my daughter, and he say, let's come to United States, and we want to do together a new life, and right. I come here.
What country are you from?
Venezuela.
Venezuela. So you know firsthand what happens in a country that can go.
Yeah, but that moment nothing
it wasn't
happened.
That way.
No.
Yeah, not at all.
No.
And in a lot of ways, those countries, they change the government, they change their leaders, and the leaders get worse and worse. And happened in Mexico. It happens a lot actually in different regimes. So when you came here, you came with twins. Right.
No, with my daughter, because the other one passed away.
The other one passed. Okay, so then you came here
with the two. The first one is the older.
Okay.
And the twins, only one.
Only one survived.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you came here, what was it like? I mean, did you have to learn English? Was it just hard to be a part of all this? Was it, did you come here to Florida first? Where did you end up going?
Yeah, I came to Miami, and Miami, everybody speaks Spanish. But when I came here, I say I want to study and I want to be a nurse because I love the doctors and the hospital to help the people. But when I see that I have to study so much in English, when I came, I stayed in only 1 year and a half with my husband because he's abused me, physical and mentally abused. And here is not the same in my country. And I divorced with him because he abused me. And the police came to the house, and he has to leave the house because he always come back with the work, and he drinking, and he I have a kind of problems, and I started to work because when I came here I get pregnant and I have my third child. It's 3 girls, and I say I have to work. I can study because I need to pay my bills, and I started. But I have my three girls. I never can work with nobody. And I say, okay, let me go starting to make food. And I selling food because I have to take care of my daughters and I can pay child care. And I started to make food and like I say, cantina in Miami.
Yeah, your own little restaurant, little bar.
I made the food in my house and I delivered it to the
wow.
Yeah, the office. I made the menus and I send every mornings to the office and the people ordering the food and I selling during the day 50 foods.
50
almost,
different plates.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. 50 cantinas. So 50 people buy food for me. Yeah.
Wow. So 50 people a day? Like a day?
Daily. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to make food and I went to out 11, deliver the food and I come back 2 almost and wash dishes and everything and starting to make everything for the next day. Yeah.
Wow. So that was like a business. You just like right away wanted to get into that.
Yeah. My plan was to have a restaurant, but God has other plans for me.
Yeah. So on that line, so then you have a business. You're trying to take care of your kids, right? And you're divorced, and obviously. But one thing I want to take out of your story, it didn't stop you, even though your husband was abusive. Even though, see, Clarissa said the same thing. My dad said the same thing. When they came here, there was no excuses. It doesn't matter what happened. I'm not saying there wasn't pain. And she would talk about, she was by herself. She was alone. She didn't have money. No excuses. You just said, I was abused mentally and physically, but no excuses. I had to take care of my kids. I had to go out. I mean, I wish, I'm going to step on toes by saying this. Not a lot of people are going to like this. I wish most Americans would take that thought because there's so many excuses why they don't succeed, why they don't have a business, why they don't step out. And they're afraid to. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost like if you grow up here, you're so used to the good life. You know what I mean? Instead of going to look for it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying by that? And so, like, what I'm taking out of your story is that, like, you didn't have excuses. Because who else was going to take care of your kids?
Me.
Exactly.
I don't have mom. I don't have family here. I don't have, at that moment, I don't thinking that I have time for depressed or something. I said, here is the opportunity, most like my country. And I move everywhere. When I don't selling my food, I went to I put I don't know how to say the payaso, the
clown?
Yeah.
Like a clown
and I'm
suit?
selling balloons for the fairs. Yeah, Sundays. Yeah.
So then you would sell food and then dress up as a clown and sell balloons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Like, did you do like balloons as in big ones or like the puppet ones?
No, big ones.
The big,
wow.
Wow.
And the kids saw me and I play with the kids, and I remember that I never had money to pay to take care somebody take care of my kids. And one couple's coming from my country and I say, listen, I changed the roof for you take care of my kids, the women. And I say the man has to go with me to selling arepas in the street, food, and I take him to selling the food with me and she take care of my kids and my house. And I buy the small house trailer. I remember I paid $7,000 for the small trailer to live with my daughters. Yeah.
Wow. So you said you would change the roof to take care of the kids.
I give you roof for the couples to take care of my daughters. Don't pay anything for me. I let the living with me.
And so the man went with you to go sell. Yeah, the man
go with me to selling the food on the street. Yeah.
Are you hearing this, John? You hearing the story? It's like, I get so many kids that come into my office like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what the next step is. And it's like, it's hard because like I hear your story and it's like, I just did. And I did, and I did, and I kept going, and I kept going, I kept moving. And it seemed like nothing stopped you. Like there was just no. So after you became, and you knew you couldn't study, and you started to do like the restaurant stuff, you're divorced now, right? How long did you do that for? The food and everything like that. How long was it?
Almost 4-5 years.
Wow. So you were selling food for 5 years, doing all that stuff. Then what happened? Did you start another company? Because I mean, you're now doing pretty well. I'm assuming for Mary Kay, the
At that
makeup stuff.
moment, I saved some money and I started to sending computers and for my country, fax and like video cameras and everything, and I selling and I send clothes and everything, and I save money and I buy my first house in Miami at that moment. And the same, I started my business to selling cars because I meet the man working on Ford dealer, and he say, if you want, I can sell in the cars, the trading cars, and you can sell it with the people. And I started to selling the cars. He's selling me in $500 and $1,000, and I selling to the people come to my country, don't have a credit, and I selling for maybe 500 or 1,000 more, and I finance it, but I finance it by myself.
So this is crazy, man. So wait, you were making food, then selling balloons, selling food, and then now you're selling cars.
Yeah, I started like that.
And you said you had a body shop. You said you owned a shop.
Little by little, I meet the man that he gave me the opportunity to working with him, and we started, and I give you ideas, and he let me to do whatever I want, and he put the money, and I started to do the business for mechanic body shop, and I went to the companies to ask for let me repair the cars and everything. Don't ask me how, because I don't speak English, but I found the people speak Spanish, and I explain about what I do, and the people connect me and send me the customers and everything. I work in the street. I have the for me it's easy to connect with the people. The connection is one of my gifts that God gave me, and I get advanced about that, and we are starting to do the business the same together. And he gave me the opportunity because he invests the money when he saw my
the gifting, the talent. Of course. No man's going to invest in something that he's not going to make money on. He's thinking, hey, she's willing to go out and do it. I'm going to go make money.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Even he helped me to do my city, my residence papers and everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah, he's a great man. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he's still alive. He's still.
Yeah. He's a good friend of mine. Yeah.
Amen.
We're working together for 7 years. Yeah.
So, wow. Okay. This is crazy. So you sold food, balloons, then you open up like a mechanic shop and a body shop, selling cars, and you barely speak English, and you're making money, and you're doing this in our country.
Yeah.
And you have your residency, you're doing fine, everything's good, right? You know why I'm repeating this? Because I want people to know that you can do it.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're 50, I don't care if you're 17. My 8-year-old has a vacuuming business. He goes out and vacuums cars by himself. He just goes and knocks on doors, and that's what he does. You know what I mean? He's making money on his own. He wants to buy stuff. He's like, I just want to make money. And he already knows he wants to have a business when he gets older and all these things. But it's funny because, let me get back to this. So you start the mechanic shop. When did God come into the picture? Were you always a Christian? Did you always believe?
When I came to this country, I give my heart to Jesus next day.
Wow.
But I have a different situation, and I don't go back to the church because I'm very, I can say, mad with God because I divorced and this man abused me and everything, and
makes sense.
And I say I want to make money in this country because my daughter I don't want my daughter have situation. I want my daughter go to the private school and everything, and my focus was in money and work. But I know the God always, he was with me always. He take care of me. But when I passed this season, like I say, season in the cards, I say I don't want to continue selling cars and everything. Somebody told me that I can open the houses for the elderly people and we can make money, because always I'm looking for something to make more money. And I passed the test for open that kind of business. I don't know how, because it's the license in English, and I started and I buy the house, and I started by zero to pass the license and everything. The places, the name is ALF, assisted living facility, and I have eight beds, and
1 second, John, hold the story. I think that stopped. This one. Just keep that one going. But I think that camera stopped.
Okay. Yep, this one's it.
I just heard it click. That's what I'm saying, man.
So it does stop at 14. Last time it didn't.
Are you sure it didn't?
No, 100% didn't. I was watching it the whole time.
All right. Start over with that story about the, you passed the test without knowing, like when you started that company for elderly.
Yeah, and I started that kind of business because I say I don't want to continue on the car business. I decide to change because I have some money and I invest in this property and I made the license and everything, and I am a nursing assistant and I do the test to be owner of the place, but this is not for me because my heart is hurt because the people, the elderly people is very abandoned for the family sometimes.
I noticed that everywhere.
Yeah.
Nos fuimos para Guatemala, nos fuimos para Colombia, también lo mismo. Like the same thing. So I was just saying that, sorry, it's kind of second nature, but when I went to Colombia and Guatemala, it's like the elderly people are neglected. And I know here too, it's easy to we put them in a home, forget about them, we'll pay for it, no big deal. I'm not saying every family does that, but it happens. They're just neglected.
Yeah, and it's very because we need to take care of these people, and if something happen, it's big issue, and I have this business for 1 year and I selling the business because I say this is not for me. Mm-hmm. And when I was in the body shop, I started to use Mary Kay. My consultant passed one day for my office and she offered the products for me, and I say I love it. I never use makeup, but I take care of my skin. And when that happened, I selling the business, and I say, what am I gonna do? I wanna do something because my dream is gonna be.
What are you gonna do? You had 4 businesses already. What else are you gonna do?
But something in my heart and inside of me is not enough.
Right.
But I think it's not about the business. I think it was about God, And when she invited me to the meeting one day, and I see that it's a career, and I meet the national, it's my director, and she's a Christian, and everything coming together because when I see the business, I say, I want this business because it's personal growth. I want to be somebody. I never have the opportunity to go to the university, but I can develop my self-esteem. I can learn to be a leader and everything. And when I sign my agreement, I say, I want to be like you. I don't want to be consultant. I don't want to sell in only products. I want to be like you. I want to see something big. And she said, okay, but you know what? God told me that I'm going to find somebody here in Miami. This is yours. In this business, you have to put the God in the middle. I think that you know God, but you need to fix something. Let's go pray. And that day, I come back to reconciliation with my God, with my Lord. And in this moment, and my story started in Mary Kay, I went in my first car in 1 month. I get director in 2 months, and she say, okay, are you director? You need to move to West Palm Beach and to need to come to my church. You need to start in your new life because this is completely. And I started to come church, and I started my process to heal because when I make money and everything is because I'm sad, I'm mad with everything, with God, with everything happened in my life, and my focus was in the money only. And there is coming my transformation. And when I see the model of the Mary Kay, I say, I want money. But this is not like that because Mary Kay is not like that because we work with lives, with women's. And this process, God told me, I'm going to use you for restore the women's like you. And I started in all my career in 13 years in this business. It's a process, God working in my heart and in my mind and everything. And he put always women that has the same issues that I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then you've been with Mary Kay for how long now?
13 years.
So 13 years. How are you doing with it? Pretty good?
Yeah, and no, and
I'm all right.
and the beginning, everything go like this, you know. And God told me, you can do this, you can do that. But now, you between you and me, God say, because I love the money, seriously. Yeah, and
It's America, man. You're
yeah,
supposed to.
and He say, let me. I want to work in your life. You be humble, because I don't put here. Do you have pink cards and anything? And I lost in 2009. I'm very close to be a national. I had almost 300 women, and something happened in my life, and I got in my position like consultant. I lost all my consultants, and I passed maybe like 2 years, get depressed and everything. But my business, for everything that I had, pay my bills and everything until 2014. And then I stayed 2 years out the business, but I have my customers, and I pray God that I want to do His will. And I say, if you don't want to give me my Mary Kay again, it's okay. I want to serve in you. And I put everything in His hand, and He gave me back my business. But He gave me a amazing husband, because I told God, I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. I want to do what you has for me. And God gave me my husband in 2015.
Matt.
And I started again in Mary Kay, and I get my director, my card, and I have one director now, and I'm ready to be a national, but I understand what is my purpose in this business, because it's the minister, but God is doing everything,
Well, this is good because, I think people, again, we can go with it. A lot of people, Americans included, straight up full blown Americans, it's about business, and you think you have to be ruthless and you have to be hard and you have to be, your decisions, you have to be very strict and you have to this. They kind of miss the heart sometimes of the people and why we're put on this earth. Why do we have a business in the first place? I remember I go to colleges and stuff and talk to kids, and I'm a Christian and they're not, right? Which means probably I'm conservative and they're not, so they're on this side of the fence. And a lot of them say, well, business owners, they're crooked. They don't like people. They just make money and they go home. When I had the business, my buddy Jake will tell you, he was in it with me. And there was times he couldn't pay his bill, so I wouldn't pay myself. I'd give him the money so he could pay his house. And he had a kid. They had some health problems, and I gave him all the money. I lived in his basement. I didn't need to make money that much, so it was he could just have it. And, every time I tell that story, every time the kids always say, well, you're rare. Es raro, you don't. But no, that's the way we're supposed to be. And I think for God to humble you to do that, I think now you have not just what do they call it? Not a new perspective or a different perspective, but a good perspective on how to take care of people. Now, your husband. So you meet this guy. How did you meet Matt then? So how did you meet that guy?
Okay.
He got lucky.
I'm blessed.
He got lucky.
Yeah. I'm not usually to recommend nobody that. But I never go nowhere because I'm working with women. I don't go out nowhere. And I got a couples, friends serving the Lord as a good Christian couples. And they say, Yvonne, they meet in Christian Mingle. and I don't believe in that. I don't like it. But she say, it's the only way that you maybe can meet somebody.
Because you never get out.
And and I pray and I say, God, I'm going to do that. I feel weird, but when I introduce my information, I don't put the picture in anything. And I say, okay, let me see. If no, I get out. I don't pay anything. I put my profile, but I don't pay. And the first person see my profile and ask me is Matthew. I don't know how. I don't know good in social media, but I don't know how can find his profile in Facebook, and I see his history, and I see the pictures, and he in church and everything. I say it's crazy, but say oh no, he's not the same like me, but he is, and I pay to contact him, and I close the page and we started talking, speak to back and forth, but I don't speak anything, and we use Google Translation, and we communicate like that. And my English that I speak now is for 4 years that I have married with him. And I don't know, God has a plan because I feel very blessed, and God bless us these 4 years. We can see the God hands over us, the real. We have calling because he and we have the same mind for serving the Lord. Yeah, and I feel grateful. I want to say something. You can do whatever you want to do in this country, but without God is different. You know, when you have a purpose in your life, when you have a calling, when you want to serve in the Lord, when you say one day, I want to serve in you, God, he take your words. You know, we need to put first. You know, I can see God led me to make money without him. When I separate with him, because he stay always with you and me, but when we separate to him, he let me make money. You know, I make money by myself, but when we work with him, we can make more because he has more. There's something we don't have in our minds, you know. And now I understand what is my purpose. I love this country. This country is very blessed, you know. And now I feel grateful to do that in English. And in my challenge is to be better to speak the language, you know, because I'm in here, and this country opened the doors that I do in here, never that I can do in my country, never in my life. I say thank you, Lord, to bring me here before everything happened now in my country. And I can help my people. I can help my niece, my uncle. I send boxes of food to my people because they don't have any food. You know,
Yes.
I'm the only of the family out because everybody's there.
They're still there.
Yeah.
Wow. How bad is it there right now?
So bad. The people don't have any food, don't have electricity, water, and the people eat the garbage out. The kids eat garbage.
So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about that. How do they get their food? Like obviously they're still mail, but, you know, people steal, you know, and all that stuff. How do they not know that you have food in there? Like, do they go through the packages? Do people steal?
No, thank you, Lord. There is some companies take the boxes, and we pay some boxes, for instance, $50, and they take to the house. And
directly to the house.
Directly, because it's the people here, the connection there, and it's nothing happened. You know,
Amen.
It's 15 days in barco, no?
Yeah, boat. Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And the other one I have in Colombia, and I send the money from Western Union, and I send the money sometimes. And this is my dream, and to make more money and help. I help my father. My father don't have anything. My father passed away, but when I came here, I started to help him, and I pay somebody to take care of him and everything. I feel grateful because whatever you can do, you can make money. You know,
Here in America,
if you is healthy, you have these hands, you can work. You know,
say that right there. Say that right there.
If you are healthy and you have these two hands, you can work. You can do whatever you want to do. And you need to stray. If you do everything stray in this country, nobody bother you.
You're unstoppable. You're going to be fine.
Yeah.
And we're all living proof of it. I had a business, a couple actually. Now I run my own ministry, and it's doing fine, you know, and work here at the church and all these other things. I mean, you can do anything. My kid sold a rock for $100. They got the money back, but I mean, he was, you know, you can do anything. You can do anything in this country, literally anything, and make a buck. I'm going to go back to ask you about your business too. So I just want to ask you one more question, because I don't want to make it too long, but I mean, this was good stuff because your story was so compelling, and you give a lot of. I remember when I spoke, was it last month? I think it was, and you were there, and then you got up to speak, and you spoke in Spanish, but it was like, my wife can understand pieces. She's like, I'm getting it. She goes, she said negro, that's black. You know, she gets excited, like, I understand. So when we go to Texas and we see my folks and my mom talks in Spanish, she likes that because then she learns, you know, how to do it. So I want to ask you about your business now. Like, I want people to contact you. I want people to get out to know you, to grow the business. how can they get in touch with you? You know, what is it that you offer? All those things, because I've known about Mary Kay because a lot of my friends did it for a long time. And every person said exactly the same thing. It has nothing to do with money. It's everything to do with the Lord. We just want to make women feel confident and have self-esteem. And that's God's role. That's God's design. And I completely agree. So how can people get a hold of you? And you can tell the camera that, like, how can people get a hold of you? What is the business? What do you do? How do they do it? You know, how do you do it? All that stuff.
Okay, this is the Mary Kay was a Christian woman, and I am sure that God gave it this design for the women's. And this is, I think, for me, is that you can learn it to be beautiful inside to outside, because you can worry a lot of makeup, but if your heart is not good, you know, you can show outside, you know, the peace, the what is a beautiful that God gave it us. And this business is simple sales. You can sell in the products. You can teach the people, the women's, to how can wear the makeup. But always when I have my customer front to me, that maybe this woman has a problem in divorce and something, and maybe I can help. Sometimes I do my facial and I put the makeup and this woman is crying and I pray for her. And this is that I understand this is my purpose. This is a good business because it's independent. You can do in your own time. This is for me. Now I tell it too much to the moms. Has the kids. You can go to do your business in the morning. When your kids come back to the school, you can do homework and you can take care of your kids, because I don't recommend to the moms to have more time in the TV, to playing games. You know, you need to supervise your kids, but you need money. You need money. And sometimes you have money, you don't have time for your kids. Sometimes you have time for your kids, you don't have money. And Mary Kay is as a reward business, because you can have a business only for sales. You can sell the products, or you can develop like a leadership. You can have a people in your team, and you can teach in the personal growth, and you can teach a lot. I think this business help in teaching us to have a balance in the family and the personal and business. You can be a businesswoman, but you can be a good wife, a good mom, and a good Christian, because Mary Kay said, first God, second family, and third career. And we're working with the la regla de oro. Gold, yeah. Don't treat the people like you don't want to.
Golden rule.
Yeah, and this is the principles, and this is that I love, but this business. And you can contact me. My phone number is 561-502-4971. And here in church, if you can come Sunday church, and you can meet me and I can explain a little more. You can invite me to do the complimentary facial. We don't charge for the facials, and you don't have to buy if you don't want, but I can show you about the products, and I love to communicate with the people, to contact with the people, because this is the most important. It's many makeup and, you know, industry, but this is the more that I like of Mary Kay, because you has that connection with the women's. This is my passion. It
is a passion, but I want to say thank you, Ivonne, for coming. I think that obviously the passion speaks for itself, but also too that you just remind me a lot of my family. My dad couldn't. He worked a lot, you know, and he wanted to start a business. He never could. For reasons. There's a lot of reasons. He wasn't lazy at all. Matter of fact, he worked harder than anybody I knew. But he taught us to do it. He's like, you know, you guys can go do this, and we did. And I wanted to step in. So I just love hearing your story. I love hearing how God took care of you, and hopefully we can do this again, and you know, and just really see what God's doing later on in these people's lives. I want more immigrants to come on here, more legal citizens to come on here, to show people, hey man, you know, they're not all just jumping borders here. You know, they do want to make a better life for their kids. And, you know, Miss Clarissa and yourself, you guys have wonderful stories of taking a bad situation and making it an awesome situation. So I want to say thank you for coming. God bless you. And guys, again, tune into the podcast. If you guys go on to theselfevidenttruth.com, you guys can find out more information about what we're coming up with next. We got some new videos come out this week here. We should be doing 2 more. Also, if you guys haven't found our shop, go on the shop part. If you guys go on the right-hand side, you'll see the button for shop. Check out our new merch, guys. We got new T-shirts. We got new hats, all these other things. We're coming out with some new videos. I'm talking about films. We're going to do a 4-film documentary on a lot of the issues that I cover. So please be on the watch out for that. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. God bless you. We'll see you guys next week.